Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who says, I wish I could think of something witty to put you at ease, make you feel well. Look, I'm glad you're here. But a little bit silly. What if I said, I'm glad you're here, but I was covered in silly string? Which is kind of, I don't know how to describe that. What if I was wearing, here's the thing. What if I said, I'm glad you're here, and I was in a yarn suit, neon yarn suit. Not that there's anything silly about yarn, but I don't know. But either way, that's the whole purpose of this greeting, is so you feel seen and welcomed. And you say, I might be able to check this podcast out. What is it again? I thought it was a sleep podcast. Yeah, welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to put you to sleep by keeping you company because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place you could rest, a bedtime you could look forward to. And a lot of us know how it feels in the deep, dark night, tossing and turning. That's why I make the show. That's why there's a bunch of people nodding their head, also welcoming you. Not in yarn suits, but, an imaginary yarn suit. Chapter 46 of my autobiography, an imaginary yarn suit. One day, I woke up. It was my birthday, and I decided, instead of my birthday suits or the emperor's new clothes, I would wear an imaginary yarn suits. But then I decided I'd stay under my blankets for a while, and I'd be warmer in clothes. Not the end, but the end of that, because it's time to start Sleep With Me, a podcast. Oh, if you're new, this is a very strange show. It takes forever to get started, never goes anywhere. So if you're waiting for me to get kind of chill, I'll try to talk in a calm voice, but this is the greeting part. But we'll have some support. That's how the show comes out twice a week for free. Then a long, meandering intro, which is meant to ease you into bedtime, and then a bedtime story. So glad you're here. I really hope we can help. And here's a couple ways we're able to do it for free twice a week. All right, I guess I'm starting this journal. I'm Marin. Nice to meet you. Technically, I guess they said make it conversational, and they said make it modular, which I'm still trying to this is my first day, by the way. And technically, I'm supposed to look at this like training material for you that are listening. And so if you're listening to this, they said just make it conversational, right? I said that already, but so I'm just being myself. This is my first, it's not my first day, but you know that terminology. And this is my first time making any training things. I'm a trainee or something. So I guess I'm just going on the instructions they give me. They said, when you fall asleep in your dreams, you'll record a journal. And this journal will be used to train the people that come after you to learn from you. But it'll also be a chance for me to think about what did I learn from my day today, which was that today, day one period of this whole thing that I know of. It was very, very different than what I expected. There's something that doesn't quite feel right, but that could also be the fact that I spent the entire day. And I'm assuming, I know I'm still a pet named Iguana is the name of the pet, Iguana, which I think you can guess what type of pet it is, Iguana, but you say Iguana. I have a long tail and pretty quiet. I got a home base, so that's where I'm sleeping now with a warm rock. That is nice. And
the whole circulatory thing. I mean, I remember back when I was, a human being on Earth, I said, what is this, what would that be like? And it's nice because the warm stuff, oh boy, is it a thrill to be warmed when you got that cool circulation. I guess because it's a necessity, but that's not what it's supposed to be focused on. The physical details you'll be trained in is, I guess I was, of body awareness and balance and movement. That's not my area. Now, a couple other things to know. I guess I'll just give you everything that I'm thinking of. Like I have a free move. They put me back in my special room. It's an aquarium, but dry, obviously. But they don't keep me there. I'm allowed to wander around. And now I don't know. I'm pretty sure they trust me for that I go back to my aquarium and use the bathroom spot in my aquarium. Now, I don't know if they originally taught Iguanuana, but before I arrived, but let's see. Well, I don't know if you're listening on your first day. I mean, maybe that'll make you feel more comfortable to be like, I don't even know where to start on my first day. I mean, I know where they told me to start, and even to start, they said, well, with the training, you're going to start, we'll get to that. But it's even a little bit strange, you fall asleep, so you find yourself inside a pet, and we'll talk more about that. There's no pre-assignment, and I mean, if any trainers are listening, maybe you send somebody in early but they said it's a one-shot deal, so they can't do that. I guess I told them that ahead of time. When I said, why me? But yeah, it's even like I woke up and here I am and I'm just sitting here in a chair. I know it's a dream. It's a dream I would have and not Iguanuana probably had because I'm in my own corporal, I recognize myself as myself currently. But maybe you're listening to this ahead of time. Maybe this is the first thing you're listening to. So maybe I should tell you that as well. If I'm here to help you and train you, right? These are things I would want to know because they were just explaining it to me ahead of time. They said, well, this is what we think it'll be like. So during the day, if you've taken on this position, you will be someone's pet. And I think that's the easiest way to look at it. But as a guest, you'll be a guest within the pet, or in a sentient presence within the pet. I'm sure they showed you films, mostly fictional, covering this. There was TV programs and movies with this idea of going into a human or I don't know if there was a lot of going into pets. But as a guest, most of those are as tourists, though they did model this thing after TV shows. Well, not exactly. I mean, we'll get to that part too. But I hope they showed you a lot of this during training, or now you're saying, oh, now after I listen to this, I'll be trained. But we're only guests in the pet, so remember to be careful, be respectful. The pet will know its own limits, and you'll have your kind of body and movement background, I hope. But that was something, if you want to thank somebody, you don't need to thank me. Because originally I said, you need body and move. I don't have any spatial awareness. So it's the first day. I'm Rin. Nice to meet you. According to what I've been told, I'm the first subject and I'm helping create the training for this position. I'm the first field agent, but as you're probably aware, as you were, going along as a youngster or during some sort of training, you heard about the Bessos Penny incident and how, originally we had, the whole idea of guardian angels, and then there was the idea of guardian not angels. Neither one of those programs worked out at all. And, the remaining versions of Earth, they said, well, they still need help, these humans. And we're pretty sure that our role is to help them. But we can't help, we haven't been successful. Everybody thinks that the whole idea that, at least the Bessos Penny incident realized that we don't know what we're doing either. We're just doing the best job we can. Spiritual beings trying to be spiritual or whatever. This is what they told me. Because not everybody, most of the people that work up there, they've never been a human. And I'm assuming you were a human too on Earth. Or now I find out a Earth. So, they have trouble relating sometimes. And I think that's why the Guardian programs did not work out. So at some point, someone came up with this idea, what about pets to help someone, to help humans at these smaller turning points in their lives? What if we could send someone, and I don't know, again, I don't know if it's because it's a new program, but something's, and you may be listening, and I don't know if they edit these, but it may be sticking out to you. It'd be like, this sounds strange. This doesn't sound totally thought out. But somebody at a meeting before my time said, what about pets? Everyone knows the wonder, the love, the power of pets. Pets are like angels. Now, they ain't, the angels did not like that. But they realized the position they're in. They said, but pets are real. They're on Earth with the humans, trusted allies. And then someone said that's a definition, they're object. And I say, okay, this is my just reviewing of it. I say, okay, well, at least there was a debate about it. And it said, how sound is the reasoning behind this plan? But however sound it was, I'm here now inside a pet, and tasked with accomplishing, well, not just accomplishing my mission, as you'll know, but you'll find out, but of like creating a training program while I'm doing it. But I think it helps me, I think that, that I said, that's a pretty smart idea to help me gather my thoughts for tomorrow. I still do have to rest. They said, make sure to do not take too long. Don't do it in real time. And again, I'm not sure. They told me I'm the first, but, I can't be positive of that. And I don't even know if pets were the first idea. I was thinking of that. Today, you get a lot of you get a lot of time. Don't use it as downtime, but you do have a lot of downtime. But I said, what if pets weren't the first thing? What else did they try? Like, did they try, like, art or furniture? And I said, well, those things aren't mobile. Oh, but anyway, I guess I'm off track. I hope you know all that already. And you are humoring me as someone on their first day a little nervous, trying to make sense of things for themselves. Or when you're trying to make sense of things your way, you'll relate back to this, watching me try to make sense of things. Okay, so when you're not sleeping or doing this journal thing, which I guess they'll probably have you do to check in, you'll find yourself in your pet. And I'd say the first day, my first piece of advice, take it slow. And the nice thing is you're not totally in control. So you could just let the pet run the show and kind of just sit back as a presence and observe, feel things. But don't over-observe, because I could tell you, like, again, if you start feeling, to get too somatic with the highs and lows of being a pet, like the cool circulation, or, we're not tourists here to have an experience. We're there to do a job. And I do respect that. And I think that's why I said, okay, I can do this job. Maybe I can try. I didn't say that in the interview. I mean, obviously they said this is, you could do this, and I said, oh, thanks. Great. Great option. So, I mean, I thought it was great. I said, well, if I'm going to be a cute little bunny rabbit or something, that would be nice. So we're here to help humans. You know that. So get settled in and then just keep an eye out or an ear out or whatever the heck iguana has. Get to know the environment, get to know the limitations, and that's it for day one. I mean, what did I learn on day one? Not to try to do that stuff, not to try to take too much control, and to just take it easy. So I'll be back pretty quick, and I'm going to get some rest, and I'll talk to you. All right, so hey, it's Ren again, and it's night 2, so hopefully you listen to night 1, so I don't have to explain all that stuff. And I decided for day 2, following kind of the training we received, but also the idea of training, field training or whatever, it's time to gather the WWWs, who, what, where, when, why, how. And that's kind of the easiest way. And maybe you did some of that on day 1. That's great. But that's the easiest place to start. Who, what, why, when, where, how. And go back to those and say those over and over again, especially if you don't feel great, as you may not, being inside, a new place. So who am I? I'm iguana, you know that. But who else or who, what, where and who, I think in this case is together. Where we're in a house or, home with 4 young women that live together. And they're roommates. There's 2 bedrooms. They share rooms together. It's a small little home. I've gathered some other information about where in the world we are, and we're in a university town, I guess you'd say. And they're a little bit they're within post what do you call that? They're not college students. They're slightly older than college student age, young adults. But some doing postgraduate studies. So there's Ange and Joy, who they're kind of the leaders of the house. They've been here the longest because it's kind of one of those places where the landlord rents out the rooms to students. So, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so they've lived there the longest. And then there's True and Mel, who share a room. And they're a few years younger than Ange and Joy. And Mel, I believe, is who I'm here to help. It's my impression. Who, what, where, when. So I guess it's still a who. Now, Mel, this is interesting. Now, I'm Ange's pet, but I've spent a lot of time with Mel. And Mel has graduated from grad school, but is an inspiring illusionist, like a performer of magic tricks. Just so I'm explaining it, like very much like a theater. And she wants to be a professional. That seems to be currently Mel's dream, is to be a professional magician. But she says illusionist. And so I don't know which one to go with, just because my head is a magician or performer of illusions. Now, I don't, like I said, this is the whole thing. This is tough because when they sent me out here, I didn't think this would be, again, there could be some other thing I'm supposed to help with that I have not observed. But they said things will happen as they're supposed to happen. Just to stay observing and trust the process. So I'm trusting the process. So currently, I'm thinking that Mel needs help because, as I've observed, the problem isn't just that Mel wants to be a professional illusionist. Right now, Mel is having an issue with focus. The focus she needs and wants to kind of focus on her craft to get it to the point where she could be a professional. If she just has a little bit more quiet and ability to focus and get these illusions down, because there's some sort of showcase coming up. I guess there's like a quarterly showcase, and it's kind of where you could get your big break, which I think is like currently would be kind of doing warm up, like getting on a tour. I guess like a lot of other performances, you'd get on tour with someone with a bigger name, learn from them, or and what Mel would prefer, like working as a part of in the same way, but like just in Las Vegas, or there's smaller places like Branson or New York City, where you could get a regular gig underneath a larger illusionist or magician, kind of doing warm up and being a part of the show, or some other tour. And these showcases are, from what I've observed today and yesterday, this is Mel's main focus of stress. And that the current issue is that if Mel just had the perfect place to practice, everything, the skills are there, and Mel's ability is there, and performance, but I haven't seen him very much of that. Mostly it's been, and this is why I said this must be the problem. Mel wants to be a magician, or illusionist, excuse me. She's very nice to me, by the way, pats me, which is not great because it's like warm, and then I say, oh, then the warmth goes away. But it's nice at the time. But so, to do well in the showcase, to move on to the next stage of career, everything's set except for the ability to have any quiet because of the other roommates. Now, I will be honest that I haven't found things particularly disruptive, but when you share a room with another person and no one has a normal 9-to-5 schedule, it is a little bit busy, and the house is not huge. But Mel is constantly saying and getting there's other interpersonal disagreements, but mostly keeping it to themselves and saying it out loud when I can hear it, but nobody else can. Of like, well, what's with the humming? How am I supposed to, focus on this ball trick when this humming's going on? Or the singing, or the door closing, or the studying, or the cooking, or the washing of the dishes. And the thing is that Mel kind of already has an idea that just move out and get your own place. Now that is, for me, my first red flag, because I say, well, why? Like, if I'm part of the process, is that what I'm supposed to help with? And how am I supposed to help? Because, but if that's the solution, that's what I mean by a red flag, is like, am I supposed to help with moving out, or what? So again, this is who, what, where, when, where are we? What? Well, moving out, I guess, or the big stage show, the big performance show. That's what I believe I'm supposed to help with. Where? We got that. Oh, who else? There's one other player that people are talking about in the house, all the women, that is coming, Belinda, who was like the original roommate who bought the house and is kind of like a motherly figure, big sister, motherly aunt figure to all the women in the house. And kind of like what I would assume is Mel seems to think that Belinda's arrival will solve things for Mel. So when it's pretty soon, because the magic show's coming up, probably sooner. And again, I don't think my job is to speculate, but I say, well, is this some sort of setup, right? If things don't go well, there's a lot of blaming for Mel going on of the other roommates. So that's when I'm trying to move towards what should I help with, correct? Because is Mel going to be able to move to a place that's quiet and be ready for this magic show, illusion magic showcase? Will all that happen if I could help perfectly with it, flawlessly? In reality, no, I don't think so. I just think the timing is too compact, so that I'm supposed to help, if as I believe. So who, what, where, when, how am I going to help? That's what I'm trying to come up with. I think right now I just need to learn a little bit more tomorrow, pay attention, and see how I can help. And maybe I can help how in the long term and the short term. And then again, you might be listening and laughing and saying, oh, this is how not to do it. So I may be missing something. I mean, yeah, it's my second day of anyone doing this in existence that I know of other than in fiction. And so, yeah, I'm not positive, but it does seem simple. And I say, well, maybe that's why they gave this job to me. Maybe, and you might laugh at that too. It's understandable, but it's, maybe it's simple in a sense. That's a good way for us to get started together, working together. And you could see that all the approaches I have, I hope I'm having an accepting approach to my imperfectness, which tells me that maybe I feel like I'm having an accepting approach to Mel and to the other roommates, and maybe Mel could be more accepting of the roommates. But Belinda comes tomorrow, and I'm hoping that also Belinda helps get this figured out. So yeah, I'll be back soon. Okay, it's me again. This is Rin, night 3. And Belinda arrived at the house. There was some very intense things that happened before Belinda arrived, because they wanted to have the place cleaned or clean up, but Mel was very focused on focusing, and the other roommates were focused on cleaning, which does make noise. And this time I feel like Mel's feelings bubbled over. Sometimes, depending on the roommate, passive aggressively, but because True's younger, maybe just saying, and it was ironic because True was dusting. And Mel said, could you possibly dust any louder? I've never heard feathers, and then True said, well, I'm sorry. Well, did you want me to do your chores too? Because you haven't done them. And got into a don't crush my dreams type thing. And then I was like, I'm sorry. I'm just worried about, and they said, don't worry. Belinda's going to help figure this all out. So let's see. So again, I want to come back to the what is define what we're trying to solve, right? So I don't know. Like Mel needs quiet. I think Mel desires quiet to focus on the show. I think that's the current problem. Without getting too much into stuff that's far afield of my expertise, what am I supposed to help with as a pet? Help Mel find quiet, right? And so I actually tried out a couple of techniques while I was here. And I also realized that, controlling, quote quotes. I'm sure they went over a lot of this with you at the training. But working with your pet, it is interesting. And I think that as time goes, each passing day, you get more and more, your relationship starts to, but remember, your job is to there as a presence. And, your controlling is kind of like, it's a bit of like trying to plant ideas, but in the most soothing, loving way. And again, thinking about the humans and the feelings, because there is some sort of limbic thing with the pet and the humans in a positive way. And saying, okay, we love Mel, and oh boy, do we love True. So I found some earplugs. So I tried those, basically. That was my first foray into like moving, getting Iguana to move stuff. So at first I got it, went over to the desk. I assumed there would be some earplugs. And then I pulled them on top of one of Mel's performance things. But that was wrong, because Mel got mad at Joy, who was the only person home at the time, and said, I can't practice magic with earplugs in because I need to hear my own voice for the performance aspect. Oh, I'm sorry, though, too. You may be thinking I'm just giving you my version of events, so it may not be. Mel's not always like this. Obviously, the Iguana loves her. And she's not like that to me. It's just a sign that this is probably what we need to be working on. So earplugs did not work. And I started thinking of a couple other ideas to help. And True wants to help, too. So then I said, well, let me spend some more time with True when Mel's taking a nap or busy or they're in the same room. And plus, I don't want to act strange, like, why are you avoiding me, Iguana? Because True said, I can't make everything perfectly quiet, Mel. I know I really do want to help you. And I know you're excited about this, this showcase. Now, then Belinda came. Now, first thing Belinda said is, put Iguana back in the fish bowl, or, whatever, my aquarium. And I said, oh boy. Because I said, well, then I realized, I could just get back out. So then I snuck out and I tried to lay low because I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. But, Belinda seems like a keeper of all of the girls' secrets, separately. So from what I stayed high, mostly on curtain rods, and watch things. And, there was other things going on with but nothing I would define as like a solvable problem. Maybe this one's not solvable either. Now, Belinda has a very, like kind of qualities. The leaders, they look to Belinda as their leader and for answers, and as someone that has more experience than them. And I did have listening to a conversation between Mel and Belinda, which Mel kind of laid it out. I just need to move into my own place, and then everything's going to be fine. But I don't want everybody who's going to be mad at me. So this is a new layer I learned today. Like, it's like one of the resistance to moving is Mel's fear of losing the friendships that, I mean, I can already say that it's clear the friendships are deeper than just being roommates, right? But that there's some sort of comfort or fear there that there would be like retaliation or they wouldn't come to the showcase, but that by moving, it would fix everything else. And Mel said, I just don't have a really good I can't I can't move because they're too loud. And also True and wants to live, like True and Mel had originally talked about if they moved, they would get their own place. And that True won't understand, and that she breathes too loud, that whole thing. And don't even get them started about the sleeping noise, that everybody snores. And Belinda is trying to help. And Belinda seems to mostly be encouraging Mel to move, which I'm not judgmental about that, but that, yes, that'll solve all the, everything else. And maybe I don't know, maybe this isn't my place, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. And it kind of seems more of like, she seems to be saying Belinda seems to be saying to Mel, like, oh yeah, and then it'll work out for the showcase and then you'll be on your way. And, in like all like, and that, that'll be fine, like encouraging. So I said, well, where am I supposed to help right now? And then so Mel said, well, what should I do then? And Belinda said, well, like, you got to find a place. Mel said, well, I don't know if I can afford a place. And Belinda said, well, maybe I can help you, but you got to find a place and we'll think up an excuse. Don't worry. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because when I was on Earth, I did, whatever. I had my own imperfections. And I indulge in these things. And it's not a matter of right or wrong that I'm saying, not telling but I say, isn't there a way to solve this problem? Like, am I here to help solve the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, Belinda's trying to solve the problem too, but I'm not comfortable with the way Belinda's trying to solve the problem. But I do have a couple of plans, because at least even if Belinda ends up solving the moving out problem, there is the problem of the upcoming showcase. And I think I could get that solved with a couple different ideas that I have that I'm going to try to implement tomorrow. And that I think would help. One is, quiet time. And actually, Joy had brought this up already. It's like, don't you have like a rehearsal schedule? When I was in musicals, we always had a rehearsal. Well, I work for myself. And Joy said, well, you could still have your own rehearsal schedule. And I think that idea is really good, but with like an express quiet time where either the other roommates aren't home intentionally or they have quiet time, no voice, headphones only, and being respectful. And it would actually strengthen the friendship, show their support of the friendship. That's kind of seems like one of Mel's kind of things is, are we all going to stay friends, right? But then there's also this one long closet, right? And it was, and this is what's interesting, is Belinda had a bunch of stuff in there, and that was part of Belinda's visit. Belinda's still here, by the way, and staying overnight. But Belinda has a bunch of stuff in this closet that it got put in Belinda's car. And they were discussing what they were going to do with this closet now that's mostly cleaned out. And what I'm thinking, I went in there, and it's a long closet, but that you could put a table up, and then Mel could climb under the table, like that it could be a performance, a tiny magic shop, the tiniest magic shop or whatever, tiniest magic stand. And so I'm just working on, like, how can I move things around the house to plant these ideas, and to to see if I can influence things, right? That those could be temporary solutions that they could all work together on. So I don't know. I'm going to rest and I'll check in with you tomorrow. Oh, hi, this is Rin. Interesting thing. Belinda found me outside of my thing, and there's also an attic here that I'm now a guest in, and because so it turns out Belinda's not like I gonna wanna, and by putting me in the attic, Belinda thought that that would keep me out of things or whatever. If True can't keep, Now, the great news is there's so much sustenance for Aganawana up here in the attic. Holy cow. Because there's like the windows are open, so there's a breeze. So there's plenty of snacks for Aganawana up here. And there's nice light. But on top of that, the ventilation all runs up here. So I can hear everything in the house. All the ventilators, because of this, however they have things installed to keep the airflow, it all comes out here. So any speaking that goes on, I've been able to listen into. And then, of course, it took me a lot. Now, I'm pretty well equipped, but of course I was able to get out of here too. And, because not everything, everything's a little and everything's screwed in perfectly. So I was able to unscrew some stuff, and it's really fun being such a good climber and jumper. But so what I did do was I pulled out a couple of calendars into more conspicuous places. And Joy brought that up right away again. I had an old playbill in a calendar, and it looked like it fell off of her desk. And then she said, hey, what about this idea of like a rehearsal schedule? And then True said, Mel, I could be like your stage manager. And it's a great idea. Like, you'll keep everything quiet. He said, yeah, I'll patrol around. And then the roommates also, I pulled some magic stuff into the closet. And luckily Belinda and Mel had gone out. So I got on a table and I was doing some dancing, which True had already taught I wanted to do. And the other three roommates were like, oh, this is great. What if this is like a stage? And so they started working on that while Mel and Belinda were gone. So I thought things were going really to plan, and that they were, that it was going to go great. And this was, so even though I'm kind of supposed to be stuck up here, things looked so good up until a few hours ago. But what happened was that Belinda took Mel, I don't know, some sort of mind, I don't know, some sort of thing where Belinda likes to go, where they kind of say, to pursue your dreams, you got to start riding your bike down a hill. If you're going to ride a bike, ride it down a hill. So you learn to go down the hill. I don't know what the metaphor was. I couldn't understand it. And so she got Mel to, commit to moving to Branson without a job, magic job, and making up this whole story, which was a lie, that she had got the job, and she got a job there. She's moving to Branson. She's going to be living with this mentor, so she can't have a roommate. That it's only going to be for 6 months, and that and also Belinda talked to Mel, and I guess that I'm not even going to do the magic, whatever the magic showcase. I'm just going to skip that. I guess with the plan of like moving to Branson and chasing her dream, and that it's going to be okay. But meanwhile, Belinda also told True that Mel would need her in Branson, and that True could be her roommate, that just Mel wasn't ready to ask her yet for any of these things. And that then it would work out just fine because they would be together. And then they had, like, then Mel came home, told all the roommates this story. Now, True was acting devastated, but the other two roommates were like, wow, we're so proud of you. Like, do a magic show for us as a goodbye party. And she said, where? And then they told her about the stage. And then it was like everything was like wrapped up in a strange bow. Like that it was like, oh, this all worked out. Everybody's dreams. This is Belinda saying this like in the end of like, it all worked out. And it's, we're so proud of you. And that even the other roommates, Joy was like, well, I guess this is, I could take inspiration from you, Mel. And even, I think Mel and True, I mean, because True knew some stuff that Mel didn't know yet. It was like this kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like solving a problem on a frozen lake that's just barely frozen or something. And it's like, oh, well, the lake's frozen. And then Belinda headed off. Now, that was where I tried to snuggle with Mel. And then as the lights went out, I guess I did it, like I did that, and Mel's like, well, I'm really glad you're going to be there. But then I kind of went and woke the other roommates up, and then they came in, and then they all like kind of stayed in the same room together, and they started talking about old times. And then Mel said, well, like now that Belinda's gone, I don't even know. I'm a little bit, I'm thinking I'm not sure, 100% sure about moving to Branson. And True said, well, what if you had a friend there? And she said, I don't know. There's something about I gonna wanna, keeping me company that made me realize, I don't know, when I was thinking about the stage you all made for me in the schedule, and that you'd be willing to sacrifice, I didn't want to tell you the truth. I was really, upset with you about making too much noise and stuff like that. But maybe I was the one that couldn't focus. But maybe I couldn't focus because I'm not sure what I want. Maybe I do want to be a professional illusionist, but maybe I don't. And I'm not sure I'm ready to just go pursue my dream without some sort of plan and support. Like your support let me know that maybe I can't do it without all of you or something like you. And they said, oh, okay. And so I'm sitting here, and I'm not sure that I solved things. So I'm not sure what I'm trying to tell you with this training is that this is complicated stuff. But I do get the sense that my time here is done. I'm feeling a little bit of detachment from I'm going to wanna. So as I'm recording this training session, I say, this is probably a necessary process of recording these because I don't know if I fixed anything, and I don't know what this Belinda. But hopefully that's a good first day for first couple days for me to say, I guess hopefully I'll find out how I did. Maybe they're evaluating me. I don't know. Maybe they're listening to this. I don't know if I helped or not. I tried. And so I'm going to, stop recording and rest. But I hope this was a service to you. And I hope you see, what was this? I don't know. So good night, new trainee. Thanks for joining me in my first few days of work. All right, I want to thank everybody that became a patron recently. Christina, Tony, and Bizarro. Thanks, and good night. Jess, Roxanne, and Patrick. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Kayla, Daniel, and Ahmad. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Olivia, Woody, and Eden. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Becca, Hillary, and Aaron Leah. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Kathy, Charlotte, and Katie. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Kristen, Michael, and Crosby. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Brian, Rebecca, and Gordo. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Noah, Lauren, and Elliot. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Tommy, Jonathan, and Julian. Thank you. Thanks, good night. And Rachel, Violet, and Pat. Thank you. Thanks, good night. Thanks for everybody who supports the show directly on Patreon or by subscription, paid subscription, or you support our sponsors. That's how we come out free twice a week. Couldn't do it without you. And to all of you that support the show through other means, just by spreading the word. That's a huge way to help podcasting grow or Sleep With Me grow. Just show people how to use their podcast app. Thank you so much. And we have over 500 plus episodes in the archives you can listen to in any order, anytime, thanks to Tuck You In sponsors like this one.